Welcome. I'm Mockwing. Uh, Today I'm going to be doing commentary on my PB as well as Shiru 666's world record in Fire Red, Leaf Green, any percent. Uh, they're two really interesting runs with just throughout the runs they vary so much in time. Like so much time is lost and then made up later, or it's gained early and then lost late. Uh, and to see how these two runs meet up and come so close at the end, I think is really cool. And also just for myself in a way to help myself improve or get better. I think it's really good to compare yourself to others depending on your goals, and seeing how Shiru executes certain parts in his run definitely gives me different ideas, or just helps me just knowing with areas I need to practice, or knowing things that could be done faster that I am not doing. So without further ado, let's start. By the way, cheers 666. I'm already subscribed, but you know, you could always subscribe to him. Really good content creator. Also follow him on Twitch. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the website I'm using right now is called ViewSync. Right now I have it lined up, so both of the videos and the timers are going to start at the same time. So video might be a little bit low to start, but we could fix that. All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so for those not familiar with Fire Red Leaf Green runs, this is Fire Red Leaf Green. It's the Generation 3 remake of the Pokemon Red and Blue games.
Okay.
I'm gonna just leave volume on for the videos. Usually in my PBs, I don't really talk all that often anyway. And when I was looking over the videos, it seems like there's a lot of parts where Shiru talks while I'm completely silent, and when I'm talking, he's silent, so it just works out. So the first 40 seconds is just your basic intro. Actually, I should go back already because I made a mistake, but when you pick your name, when you press A to confirm, and then it moves you to the are you sure you want this name screen? The screen right before that where you press A. We start a flow timer program. It's a backwards counting metronome. You saw both of us check our trainer IDs. We looked at what we enter the trainer IDs into a Squirtle Manip program. It tells us, or it shows us, what Squirtles are, what runnable Squirtles are on each ID. For Shiru, in his world record, he gets a modest Squirtle that is relatively late. Wow. Imagine that, dude. Okay.
Isn't it obvious?
A really quick desync. Awesome. So anyway, Shiru gets a much later Squirtle than I do. Oh, wait, no, it's actually super important that... Okay, wait. I'm gonna try and... Whatever. Technical difficulties. Shiru, please, you run. I cannot, this literally, it's never buffered for me, ever, in the middle of watching it. So I can't believe this is actually happening. Dude, oh my god. Okay. So, while I work to realign Shiru's VOD, you see Shiru doing some bag manips as I'm frame advancing. So, during the RNG manipulation to get your Squirtle, there's a couple of different things you can do, because essentially all the NPCs that you see on your way to get this Squirtle can push forward the RNG, and in some cases, they can push it forward in a way that's not visible or not noticeable to the runner. So in some cases, you'll just go and try and hit manip, and you'll end up 2 frames late, 4 frames late, 2 frames early. And it just all has to do with those NPCs. For example, the fat guy outside. Okay, this is close to aligned, but I'm gonna realign from my video because it seems like Shiru's video might be harder to realign from. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. I'm just gonna play it from here and just let it go. So, Shiru, in his run, he does bag manips on his way to the Squirtle. What that does is, when you enter the bag, basically when you leave the overworld, it resets the spinner clocks on all the NPCs. And from there, he could basically guarantee that his manip won't get pushed beyond a certain point other than the frames he's advancing by opening the bag, which in lab is 6 frames. If you're out of the lab, it's 5 frames. I believe it's dependent on the number of NPCs that are on the map at the time.
Money, you're not miserable anymore.
Like, in your room, if you enter your bag, you're the only... There's no other NPCs, it's just your room. And those bag manips only count for 3. When you do it outside, there's 2 NPCs and it's 5, and in the lab, there's 3 extra NPCs other than Oak and Gary. So, that's where you'd get the extra one from.
Whoops.
Funny enough, Shiru and I both get modest Squirtles with 31 speed. In Fire Red Leaf Green, you have a varying stat starter manip, and that's because there's no save and quit manips for Fire Red Leaf Green, like there is in Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Sapphire. Just the way the game is coded, it seeds the RNG like right from boot up, essentially, and hard... I think it's a soft reset like you do in Emerald and Sapphire speedruns. Doesn't reset that RNG. So that's impossible, so you just have to track it from the beginning, which is why we use the Trainer ID program and Flow Timer. In Shiru's run, it's already passed. I'm not gonna try and bother to resync these videos because I don't want the stupid buffering thing to happen again. He actually forgets to tail whip in his fight, so he just tackles straight up, which is not always good with modest. You could end up dying like that, but he gets a good crit. I believe I got a good crit in my rival fight too. But anyway, both got our Squirtles, and we move forward. Why does it feel like these videos are moving so slowly? Actually crazy. Okay, yeah, there's like some big buffering. Holy.
Me too.
Dude. Okay, whatever. Hey, Cyberworld.
Me too.
Anyway. For Route 1, obviously, in this game, since there's no save and quit manips, the only manip we do is starter manip. Everything else, you just have to take what the game gives you. So for Route 1, your goal is to fight and kill 1 Mon for experience. It's important for getting level 13 after you finish Brock's gym, because that's the level with Squirtle that you get Water Gun. Also, it helps you get level 8 after your Sammy, but
I think what you should do,
that's not as important as getting Water Gun,
is play Track Main.
There's a couple of different options that you could do for Route 1 experience. Or like, essentially like different trees of things that can happen. On Route 1, you can find Rattatas or Pidgeys. The rats can be level 2 through 4, and the Pidgeys can be level 2 through 5. You definitely want to see a low-level Pidgey or rat, and you'd rather prefer a rat. Pidgeys only have the move Tackle, so you're guaranteed damage when you see one, unless they miss. And with a rat, Tail Whip, obviously you're not taking damage, so it's not as bad.
Very good with that.
Now, we're both about to do the second trip through Route 1, and for that, your goals are to get a Cutter and a Flyer, which just so happens Rat and Pidgey both work for those slots. So, Once again, you should take whatever you can get. If you don't get a cutter or a flyer, or neither, it's fine. You could always go on to a later route, like Route 3 or Route 4, and just catch a cutter or a flyer there. One of the other reasons you want to fight a bird, at least for experience, is that level 3 birds can sometimes be 4-shots. I think it's like 25% of the time they're a 4-shot, which means you're taking more damage. It's slower. Your only attacking move at this point is tackle, which is 95% accurate, and so many runs I've had that have missed multiple tackles before even entering forest. Shiru, you saw him stall on Route 1, and that's because he's actually playing Fire Red, and I'm playing Leaf Green. In Leaf Green, you have another option for a cutter on Route 4, which is Sandshrew, but in Fire Red, that slot's taken up by an Ekans. So, Shiru decided... He's also getting really unlucky on this fight with the crit. You really don't want low HP going into the forest because you have to waste your potion, and these are world record attempts essentially for both of us. And for that, like, you're gonna play relatively risky in the early game. Since you're just gonna reset for basically like the Brock range anyway. It's any percent. If ever round 2, Shiru likes to play safer, I like to play safer in round 2. But any percent, it's all about getting that range. What was the tangent I went on? Oh yeah, so Shiru plays on Fire Red. So he stalled there in Route 1, and he said it was because it was impossible to get a bad encounter. And that's because he had already caught one thing, I think it was a rat. So if he finds a bird, great, he found his flyer, he doesn't need to catch any more HM friends. And if he found the rat, he killed it for experience, which only comes into play with certain Squirtles. Sometimes, if you want to play safe with a Modest, you would just get the extra experience. The reason being, it gets you bubble for the Sammy fight, which makes it so much safer and saves one turn. But the other reason is we both have 31 speed IV, and but with the varying stats, that can affect how you decide to play Fire Red, Leaf Green any percent. So with 31 speed, if you have 5 extra speed EVs, you can skip using Carbos at a later point, and you will naturally outspeed all of the gym leaders. Here, I encounter a Pikachu. Thank goodness it's level 3. A level 5 is pretty hard to run away from. Also, 31 IV speed, helpful in helping to run away from that. I believe I have a 3 encounter forest, which is pretty average. But I did have a pretty good Route 1. I think I only had 2 encounters. I had the experience kill, and then I caught a bird, and that was it for my Route 1. So,
what is that?
Very ahead of Shiru so far.
Clap.
But I think Shiru makes up for it by only getting 2 encounters. Nice time loss, bang.
Hilarious.
So, when you're a Modest, that means you have minus attack stat. So, for the Sammy fight, it means I have to tail whip twice before I continue my attacks and whatnot. Shiru has bubble, so he's just gonna be able to bubble spam the entire time. I really don't like the double tail whip Modest fight. I get really lucky here with a crit, which is huge. But I don't like the double tail whip Modest fight because I feel like with the double tail whip and with 30% chance to poison from Poison Sting, it's really risky if you're not bringing extra potions.
On God.
For sure.
Please,
also, really bad for me here, so I don't leave this fight with Poison or Torrent. You hear Shiru singing to be poisoned, gets last turn poison, which is so good. You want to get poisoned as late into the fight as you can, because every turn that ticks for poison, you're obviously losing time.
And the 5 boys.
And the reason why you want to get poisoned is because you want to set up
Down to 5
like an exact Torrent HP. He's saying 5 HP. It all depends on your Squirtle stats, what HP you want to go to entering this gym. And that's because it's going to save multiple turns to be in Torrent for both of these fights. For the fight I'm about to do, the Geodude, you naturally one-shot with Torrent. The Sandshrew is a pretty good chance to two-shot in Torrent. But for me, I'm going to have to two-shot the Geodude, and then it is a bad range, or not a bad range, but it is worse than the two-shot. It's worse than the two-shot range to three-shot the Sandshrew if you don't have Torrent, which is really bad. So my run was pretty ahead of Shiru, as it is, but because he has Torrent now, he's going to start catching up. Also, I have pretty high HP here, which is not good. You want to have, like, as close to that exact HP entering gym, like your target that you want. And that's because having Torrent after this Brock fight is really important for Route 3. When you have Torrent, you're going to be able to one-shot all the bugs that you see. Without it, most of them are two-shots. Some of them are arranged to one-shot, but it's still bad. I got an insanely good fight for not having Torrent. I two-shot the Geodude, he used Defense Curl, whatever, but I went to 20 HP and saw double Scratch from Sandshrew, which put me to a good enough HP. Though with this defense, I would have wanted 1 HP lower, but that would have required a high roll from one of the Sandshrew scratches. But 8 HP is totally fine. Funny enough, Shiru and I are going to do basically the same strategy on this fight, which is with our defense, we're going to withdraw on Onyx. I'm not sure if Shiru withdraws on Geodude or if it's... Okay, yeah. So, yeah, we both withdraw here. And that's so that way, like I said, how Torrent is important for the entire next route. You want as low of HP leaving this fight, so that way you can carry Torrent for as long as possible. It's also a 9 and 16 range to Oko the Onyx with Torrent Bubble. Super scary. Everyone loses so many runs to that range. I get really lucky there. I miss the range, but I speed fall. And as long as you're 24 speed or higher, you outspeed after the speed fall. The ones under that, you speed tie, or sometimes you're just slower and, like,
this run
rip.
Could be good.
But my run got saved because I got the speed fall, so I was able to win.
If only that was all.
What on earth was that? And couldn't find another tab with sound, then realized it's Shiru in the back of your stream. Yeah. So I have the audio on for both of these videos. So we actually have pretty, like, it's a pretty close rock exit for both of us. I'm only 4 seconds ahead. Each of us have one HM friend. I think I still need a cutter, and he still needs a flyer. But for both of us, actually, the withdrawal strats worked out, so we both have, I believe, perfect Torrent for all of Route 3, and then, depending on the HP situation, by the time we reach the end of it, you gotta fight one of, usually 3, optional trainers in Moon.
I feel like you love this game, Olo. Is that possible?
So... real quick, I'm gonna move this to 2 times speed. I don't care for... Oh, incredible. The desync, dude. Oh my god. No way. I shouldn't have done anything. Okay. Oh, this is nuts. Okay. I was hoping I was going to be able to do that during commentary, just to be able to speed through, like, the slower parts of the run, because here we're just going to be one-shotting all these bugs, so it doesn't really, like, doesn't really matter. Well, they're actually back in sync. Putting them back at the regular speed.
It's pretty funny. I like this game.
So
Scientist freezing
Only
resistance is a
important
lot.
thing to note on this fight
Not,
is
like,
that
good,
if you
but
are
it's
30
not.
special attack, which is the squirrel that I have on the right side of the screen, Shiryu's squirrel has 31 special. On this fight, even in Torrent, both of the Caterpies are 15 and 16 ranges. So 93% to get it. Essentially the same odds as getting crit. Here, no problem, I get it both. I have a clip where I miss
Oh, God.
both of those ranges in the same
Wait,
fight.
I'm sorry.
I
Hopefully
definitely,
you did not
yeah, I was cursed by on that clip for sure.
Thank you, Mikhail. What did you accomplish in these last 2 hours? Let me guess, nothing. You bought pizza, so you made someone accomplish something for you. Because you can't do anything. That's
This
pretty
is why I
impressive.
love watching
I'm proud of
Shiryu's
you.
runs. So let's see. There's not really much to talk about in this section. Like I said, we just one-shot all of the bugs. If you were to enter this section without Torrent, you would attempt to stall on... Or, like, maybe you would stall, maybe you wouldn't. Because you're not in Torrent, you're not going to be one-shotting the bugs anyway.
How about
And
we
on the
not get
first
hurt
bug
on the
fight, it's either you're going to get
rocket
string
and
shot or you're going to get their attacking move,
possible.
which
If
for
we get hurt by
Caterpies
the
is
bird, we just
tackle.
fight God.
Usually does two. For us,
Fine.
for Shiru and
Yeah,
my Squirtle, it would be doing
like
2
that,
damage.
which I will not.
And then the Weedle has Poison Sting, which does 3.
Or maybe I will. I don't know.
And you would just hope to get damage from there. Sometimes you would stall for it, but that's a little bit risky. But all 3 of those bugs would be 2 shots without Torrent. The first Weedle, or
Really?
no, yeah, the first Weedle is arranged to die without Torrent.
Very interesting.
I think the Caterpie is arranged to die without Torrent on the second fight. And then obviously Kakuna and Metapod definitely aren't getting one shot. And then on that fight, it's arranged to get the Caterpie without Torrent as well. You see Shiru dive into the grass, and that's because he needs a bird. On the Route 3 grass, you can catch a Spearow or a Pidgey. I believe it's 65% to get one of those encounters.
Bird.
So he gets it second try, not that
level.
bad. I enter Moon. I believe I skipped Personberry. I'm pretty sure neither of us are going to grab Personberry. That's a one... I'm pretty sure that was a 1% encounter, because you get 8 steps of free,
Well, we have a bird.
like 1% essentially chances when you enter a cave for the first time. And you saw me kill it, which is a strange thing. You wouldn't normally do that. You would just run from an encounter that you don't normally want. But like Shiru fought the extra rat earlier. It was to not only get him level 7, but to get him an extra speed IV, so that way he could skip the Carbos later. So knowing that Zubat gives a speed IV, I just take the opportunity. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna kill this thing. Like, it's not even that much slower than running away from it. And now I can fight Youngster Josh, who gives another 3 speed IVs, and that gets me to the total of 5 that I need. I misplayed, though, because the extra experience from Zubat got me level 16 early, which wouldn't let me one-shot that rat if I hadn't gotten Quick Attack. I even comment on it during the run. I'm like, oh, I'm stupid for going to... for leveling up early. I also stalled by using Bubble instead of trying to go for the... I think it's a 10 and 16 range to one-shot the Zubat if you have Torrent. And that was to set up better HP. Because ideally you want Torrent for the next 2 fights you're going to face, which is the Moon Rocket at the end of the cave, as well as the Scientist. As always with this run, just like multiple turns lost if you don't have Torrent. And it's just like, and
Alright, well,
everything's just so much faster when you do have it.
Stall for a turn there to get Torrent for level 16.
Out of the optionals that you can fight for experience in this route, we both fought Youngster Josh, which is the option you do if you want more speed IVs. If you the safest ones are the Bug Catcher and Marcos, which always one-shot as long as you have Torrent. And the riskiest one is the Rocket that I passed with a Posmanip.
You're so cool, bro. You're so cool.
On that one, he has a level 13 Rattata that is a 10 and 16 range, I believe, to die to Torrent Water Gun. And he's faster than you. And knows Hyper Fang, which can flinch you. Like, that fight's so risky, but it's the fastest fight out of all the options you can face because it has the least amount of Pokemon and you could just potentially just one-shot both. Also, I did a Posmanip. So the way Posmanips work are, in Gen 3, you can run to certain tiles, and for spinners, because they have like the AI to always look at your direction if you're running past them, you can run to a certain tile and force them to start looking in a direction because they're getting ready to catch you. So in the cave there, you run on the top line and then you have to walk 2 tiles and then pause before you're gonna pass him. The 2 walking tiles equal 32 frames of time pass, and that's when the spinner reaches his first cycle, and you get an opportunity to see if did he spin on the 32nd frame when you do that pause. If he hasn't, then you can walk past and go by. We both get really good fights. I think we both got Hardened from Grimer, which is, if you have Torrent already, it's what you want to see. If you don't, it's very meh. You also see there's actually a big HP difference already. Oh, actually, I leveled up, that's why. I'm at 54 HP, and Shiru should be going to 52, I think? Not entirely sure, but...
Yep. Look, man,
we both get pretty decent Moons and Route 3s. Both of these runs are pretty good. I'm out of Mount Moon first, but I still need to find my cutter. Shiru already has his bird, so he's gonna go on straight to Cerulean. Also, you see me teaching the best move in the game. Mega Kick, 120 power, 75% accuracy. But you would think that accuracy is like fucking hypnosis. It's so trash. I cannot believe the backbone of this route is 14 Mega Kicks that some you hit for your life. But it is what it is. The nostalgia, it's hard. I get pretty lucky, get first encounter rat, and it's level 12, which is nice because some of the lower level rats are ranges to die if you have Torrent. For me, that was, I believe, a 78%. Oh, yeah, it's definitely 78% catch.
Wait, you're my father? Holy shit.
One of the benefits of catching pokes later, or like the missing pokes later, is that you'll get a better catch rate, because on Route 1, you'll traditionally just attack once and then throw a Pokeball, and that is a 62% chance to catch, which is like, it's so early, you just take those odds. But later, having a 78% chance is pretty nice. You get the hidden rare candy behind the house first, and then you go into Misty's gym. We're both going to candy to level 20, which is very important in this route. When you hit a level ending in 0, 3, 5, or 8, you get like essentially like a higher stat boost or a higher like damage boost to your moves. That'll count for more against the opponent Pokemon. And then you learn Bite at 19, which is so key. Fighting Misty first is pretty fast, but it can sometimes be a really annoying fight.
Wow, I got
normally, if everything works out fine, it's a 5-turn, but both of Misty's Pokemon know Water Pulse, which has a 20% chance to confuse, and Shiru's gonna... Shiru's gonna get familiar with that 20%. Also gets Staryu lead Water Pulse, which is the worst outcome. Usually, you'll see what happens on my screen, just Staryu uses Harden. Yeah, on the second Water Pulse, Shiru gets
I can't believe it.
confused.
No! The starfish is fucking my ass! Mate! We're healed now.
I get a pretty normal fight. There's a 41% chance to kill Starmie with 2 bites. I definitely didn't get a high enough roll first.
This time's still fine.
So I need to use a tackle to guarantee the range. Unfortunately, when I go to swap moves, which is like a relatively new tech in Fire Red Leaf Green 90%, I accidentally pressed A and I used a second tackle, which is
I
bad.
have a starfish!
Because you could sometimes hit it into heal range and then Misty heals, and then you're back to square one on Starmie. Oh, look at that, a double load. Okay, perfect. So I beat Misty. Let's pause, because Shiru is having the worst time of his life on this Misty fight. I don't even know if it's gotten to that point. I believe he hits himself in confusion 4 different times during the fight. You saw, I'm already done. And Shiru started the fight, I think, with a 3-second lead. But, like, that's just Fire Red Leaf Green. Like, the RNG is just so crazy sometimes, and it swings so wildly. A 20% chance to confuse. He got unlucky by seeing the Water Pulse turn 1 anyway. The next Water Pulse was a crit and confused him, and then every time he hits himself is a 50-50 to hit through. And this detail I'm not sure, but I believe it's also around a 50-50 chance to just snap out of confusion each turn. So he's just losing coin flip after coin flip after coin flip, and it's a really bad time for Shiru. I don't know what happened to these runs. I don't get why the buffer's so massive. It's crazy. Maybe I just have too many tabs open. I'm gonna close the window that I had watching my stream. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's start again. So, as you can see, I'm done with the Misty fight. My split was a 25-14. I had one dumb self-mistake, which was... oh yeah, by the way, I was going to use these for notes. So, first note. Alright, start up again.
Incorrect! It's like going to buy cows when everybody's fucking big.
So the reason why you want to fight Misty
Go
first,
to the market and buy cows
before
when
like the
everybody's
rival fight,
fucking
before
big.
Bridge, is because
It's the same fucking
Misty gives
logic.
Water Pulse, and because you're a Water type starter, you're getting stab bonus to that, and it's hitting for 90 base power this early, which is so powerful. It's ridiculously powerful. And so
can't
useful to
believe
get a
it, bro. I lost
stab
minute
TM
to
this early.
Fucking prostitute in a swimsuit.
Shiru finally getting through Misty. Losing just an absolute
Why would you buy
ton
a
of
cow?
time.
If no one eats meat, because you like cows, fuck you.
He has a 25-56 Misty, which is like, if you get a 25 Misty, it's okay. But for sure, for Chiru's goals in his run, it's really bad. You like, essentially, it's a YOLO. I know for sure when I get a 26 and I'm going for PB attempts, I'm YOLOing.
I'm doing it.
Normally, you see, like, what I do, I potion to a
You're
decent
gonna heal
health.
this. Yeah, I am.
Pidgeotto is a 2-shot, and you go for Bite Kick on this Bulbasaur. I get put to sleep, which isn't ideal.
I'm not healing this. I'm winning this fight without healing.
Shiru going ultimate risky because this Pidgeotto has Quick Attack,
That was not the problem.
and he's gonna lead Water Pulse on it, which is a 3 in 16 chance to OHKO in Torrent, which is what he's in, and he gets it.
I got the range. What the fuck?
A fantastic YOLO to start, but this Vine Whip is 15 to 18 damage
What's this?
for Shiru.
What's this? I'm living at 1 HP. Please hit, you animal!
Gets the mineral. And the hit kick. Like, a nutty YOLO to turn the run around. He still needs to potion right now because the next Pokemon's gonna have Quick Attack. But just such a nutty YOLO to bring the run back after such a terrible Misty time. What was I ahead by? IRL. Shiru did this run on like a Sunday, and 5 days later, on Friday, I got my PB. So funny enough, I already
and I won the fight.
was already
God, even a 1-year-old
comparing
that.
two Shiru splits,
Like, 1-year-old will be like,
and I was 41 seconds ahead after the Misty fight.
Fucking color would say.
But like, okay, let's see. When Weedle appears on screen for me, that's 2804. Shiru makes up just like a significant amount of time on that fight, even with the potion, like I had a pretty clean fight. The only thing that happened was I got put to sleep, but I'm in decent HP. You want
to know? What?
Or like Torrent doesn't really matter because you have Water Pulse, and Water Pulse will knock out anything that Torrent Water Gun would normally knock out. The bridge section's just actually is pretty boring. I'm gonna wait for this fight for both of us.
Myself 4 times or something.
So I said earlier that the backbone of this route is 14 Mega Kicks that you need to hit. The first one is the rival fight, and that one's sometimes for your life. And most times you only have like 2 chances max. The next kick is this Oddish. I nail it.
Do a 15 roll.
And that's exactly what you want to see. Actually, so for my HP, 8, it was a little bit risky. I believe a high roll absorb could have killed me. But it's a 50-50 for Oddish's moves.
Chirolug! After getting fucked by a starfish! Fucking Patrick the Star! We're calling Chirolug! I cannot understand! He's not even a fucking Pokemon! He's from fucking SpongeBob! They got fucked by him! And that's Chirolug? Yes, it is! I agree!
I love Sheer.
I can't believe it! This is just a fucking joke!
The Oddish has Absorb and Sweet Scent, so it's a 50-50 to see one of those moves, but obviously you're not going to see a move if you hit your kick, so sometimes you just risk it, because we're both modest, so the 3 different natures you can take for this route are Rash, all 3 are plus special attack. You can take Rash, which is minus special defense, you can take Mild, which is minus defense, or you can take Modest, which is minus attack. And so Modest, like, hurts a little bit early for, like, damaging. It can make the Sammy fight a little bit slower because you have to tail up an extra turn. But it makes up for it later because you're taking just, like, less damage overall, like, throughout the rest of the fights throughout the game. Because normally, like, normally you're getting hit with, like, physical moves that are going to affect your defense. But there's still fights that are going to affect your special defense. And just, like, especially when you get to the E4, having a Modest Squirtle makes a huge difference, just from taking, like, so much less damage. It really, like, most of the time, if you have a Modest Squirtle in the E4, it's a pretty easy E4, like, typically, like, at least in terms of, like, how the damage ranges works out, like, you'll typically get a good fight. I meant to skip all of this, actually. I didn't mean to watch the entire bridge. But I don't want to skip one thing. Do I skip it? Please tell me I didn't. Oh, I did. Okay, wait, hold on. Whatever. Alright, back. So, the only reason I went back here is because...
so funny, bro. If you want to have a good time, there's Kurt, bro. He's here, bro. It's so funny, bro.
I'm gonna be doing a pass soon. I just didn't want to skip it over. So Nugget Bridge, like I said, like, well, I don't even know if I said it. Like, it's just boring. Like, you one-shot everything. Doesn't matter if you have Torrent or not. Like, with in Charmander runs, you need Blaze because you don't have like a teachable fire TM this early, so you're only stuck with 40 power Ember, so you need that Blaze to make sure you start one-shotting everything. But in here, like, it doesn't matter, you're always just gonna one-shot everything.
Dude, please, I'm begging you.
You hear me complaining a tiny bit. And that's because after this fight, there is a spinner. His name is Dan. He is a 4-way spinner, and before this fight, he decided to look left, which is the direction I need to pass him in. So it's really bad. You're going to see me go up here and wait, and that is a complete YOLO.
Will the run survive or not?
I mean, it was completely, definitely not safe. But how risky was it? I either risked 1 in 16, or I risked 2 chances for him to see me. And if it was 2 chances for him to see me, I believe that's 3 or 4 in 16 to get caught. Which, like, is risky, but because of his positioning, you see Shiru did the same YOLO too. Because of his positioning, there's, like, only certain ways to pass him. The fastest, completely safe way to pass is to fight the hiker 1 tile closer to him. Do a pause manip once you get to the top tile where we normally go to. You hope he hasn't turned by that point. If he turns by that point, it doesn't matter. You get the time loss. But if he hasn't turned by that point, you do the pause manip, you walk 1 tile forward, run up, run right 1 tile.
Hi.
Because if you run right 2 tiles, you're just going to run into his vision. And then you walk down 1 tile. And that is the only safe way to pass. So it's a pause manip with a bunch of extra running and walking. And it's pretty difficult to execute perfectly. Not that hard if you take your time. There's also, like, the bag manip option. Okay. Great bag manip options. Only, former world record holder, before Shiru got this world record, does bag manips to pass that. So, I mean, you could always get a good time in this game, really, no matter what your strategies are.
Good. Interesting.
Alright. So far,
that's a strange one, Ekman.
Has been a pretty solid run for me. At this point, I know, like, I've hit all my kicks. The early game was solid. So now I'm just hoping, or, like, definitely with this time here, I know, like, definitely 44 Surge is, like, what I'm on pace for, and if I get lucky, like, we could be looking at 43. And for sure with, I think at the time I was at least shooting for 201. I really wanted a 201. I just wanted, like, the final PB to move on.
Yeah, that was good.
And for sure for that time, like, you want to aim for a 44. I had my PB in this, that I'm comparing to on Live Split in this video, is my 202.15, and that one had, I think, like a 45.16 or 45.17 surge, and had a chance to 201 pretty much almost all the way to the end of the champ fight. So, like, it's not a hard set that you need, like, certain surge times to get certain times, only to a certain point, obviously. But definitely, Shiru and I are both aiming for 44s here, minimum. So the way your mega kicks work out on the previous split, you used 4 mega kicks if you hit all of them, and you have 1 extra. And this Drowsy only dies to mega kick.
Nice.
Luckily, I hit it. I go 5 for 5 on the first kicks. Going 5 for 5 on the first kicks is a huge time swing. Because, well, obviously, if you miss a kick at any point, you're going to lose time. But also, you grab the ether right before you enter Bill's house. If you missed a kick at any point, you won't have you'll have 0 out of 5 kicks by the time you get to this point, which means you'll have to ether, and that's an ether that you would normally use. It's a planned ether use in a different menu. So you're doing an extra menu to use it early, which is always bad. Whenever you do an extra menu, loses. Extra menus lose way more time than a lot of people think in speedruns. It's crazy how much time it loses. So, like, really, the correct play is to play risky, even if you have 1 kick, because
is this 19 ever?
that Drowsy, it can be pretty annoying. It's a bad range to one-shot in Torrent with Water Pulse, so normally you're going to 2-shot it if you don't finish with kick.
What is going on? Please tell me.
And it has disable too. So sometimes if you miss the kick into disable, you can't even kick after. So like, I remember in the past what have I done? I ether at one kick there.
IV is
just to play safe, so that way I can just kick afterward in case I miss. But because you can get disabled after, if you miss a bunch of times on that fight and you have to use a mega kick on Camper Jeff, which is the fight that Shiru's on, the one that I just finished. If you ether early and you miss kicks on one of these two fights, then you're going into your boat rival fight with limited kicks, which is also really bad, because if you miss there, then you need a mega kick for sure to finish off Ivysaur. So if you run out before that happens, the run's dead. You could run out of kicks after killing Ivysaur, which is sometimes bad, because then you need a kick to kill Raticate if you don't have Torrent. So just overall, not ethering before that Drowsy fight, even if you only have the one kick, is still the correct play. And just, well, when you go 5 for 5, holy shit, the run's just so fast. The run I have right now is super fast. To start this fight before 39 minutes is really, really good. This is definitely like, I know it was borderline like 43-44 pace. And it all depended on cans, which I'll talk to cans when we get there. But like, I know this run was really good. And this is one of the big things that happens in, or like one of the terrible fights that happens in my run, essentially. So I get the bite, don't flinch, get put to sleep. I get hit to 18 HP. My roll from Vine Whips is 17 to 20. And I get sleep powder. So what happened there was I got max roll Vine Whipped from 38 down to 18. So I was like, I'm dead most of the time. So I need to heal this.
So the roll
17 min roll prediction.
A good roll.
On its Vine Whip prediction.
Actually.
So it max rolled me on damage to put me back into range to die to Vine Whip. And then on the next turn, it prediction min rolled 17, thinking it couldn't kill me. So it put me back to sleep.
So yeah, I even explained it in my PB video. That's exactly what happens. It min roll predicted 17 when I was at 18 HP, which was so bad because I expect a Vine Whip there. I get put to sleep. Now, at this point in my run, I've used all of my awakenings. So if I get put to sleep again, I just have to naturally wake up, which is incredibly slow. And I'm about to... the split after this, you fight a bunch of Oddishes that now know Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, what's the paralyzed one? Sunspore. So just not good. Very not good. I know, like, it's so important that I hit the rest of my kicks. Shiru gets a standard fight. You get put to sleep once, hits the kick.
I'm not always saying for can.
What was the... Oh yeah, and then gets hit into Torrent, which is good because saves him from having to kick Raticate. You can use Water Pulse to kill it. You could also Water Pulse Kadabra, but if you Water Pulse Raticate, you wouldn't do that because Kadabra has Disable and sometimes likes to use it.
Like, it's possible, but not likely, even with my HP IV. I would need, I think...
Oh, so here in my PB, I got asked if I could tank 2 Shockwaves. I was talking crazy. I, like, didn't even know what I was talking about. With this HP and the special defense on a Modest, you could definitely... It's a range to tank 2. You have to get lucky. I do a Pancath. So I'm gonna pause really quick. So I did a Pancath that normally you check the first can that's directly in front of you, and then you check that one. Shiru is the one that kind of like figured this out. So When you check that second can, that lines up with the spinner clock. So he has to decide to spin or not to spin. And it just so happened when I checked that second can, he spun left, so I couldn't go up. Normally, you want to go up because those are like the ideal cans to get the can. Like, you're always going to have a random chance across all of the cans for which one it ends up being. But if it ends up being one of the ones in the row just to the left of that sailor, it's perfect because you're already on your way up to the or not the optional, but to the minion fight that's forced in this gym. And then you can just walk straight up to Surge, which is why normally I prefer doing that path. But I get blocked, so I have to bail on that. And it just so happened, got so lucky because also the rest of that path, you go like you essentially make a kind of a circle or like an upside down Q, you would kind of say, and you would go back around underneath the sailor essentially, and underneath the statue, and then you check the can that I'm at. But because I got quick spun to the left, I had to change the paths, and I ended up getting to this can sooner, which ended up being like it's such a good find when you find a can this early. Such a huge swing.
I am.
So I save. Shiru is a little bit more behind than I am, and he's already talking about maybe he will save, maybe he doesn't. It all depends on when he finds his can, I think, is when he's going to decide. I get first try cans, no need to reset. It's such a huge advantage. So I had a terrible rival fight, but getting first try cans and getting it within the first 3 cans you check when entering the gym is like, it's such a huge time swing. Like this run, like as you can see, like I'm fighting the minion, I'm gonna be out of this fight before 43 minutes. So that means I could definitely fight, or there's a chance to definitely 43 Surge on the table, which is huge. So for 43 Surges, you're like, Pokeguy had 201.21 with like a 45.18 Surge. So getting a 43 Surge, you know, like that run's really good. Like if you could hold it, that's just a ridiculous pacer. Shiru decides to YOLO because he like gets to the minion fight and still doesn't have like the correct first can. Just really bad luck. He's continuing to YOLO. Like it's the only option left at this point. Finds the can there and finally gets it there. So overall, not too bad. I finally get to the Raichu, which is the worst part of this fight. Miss the first Water Pulse, which is terrible. I say I'm gonna have to risk this. I'm talking stupid again. So, funny enough, the rolls for Shockwave for me at this IV is 37 to 42 damage off of Shockwave. So it just so happened that on the first Shockwave roll, I got min rolled, which is great because I said obviously 37 to 42 is the range for Shockwave. This means I can tank another Shockwave. It all depended on the first roll. I didn't realize it at the time. I was just so focused on like hit Water Pulse, hit Water Pulse, hit Water Pulse, hit Water Pulse. I didn't even bother. I thought like I was probably just dead to another Shockwave. But yeah, got really lucky, got min rolled on the first Shockwave, so I was guaranteed to tank another one. But either way, I missed a second time. Like, the fight's going terrible for me. I'm thinking this run's dead. I'm paralyzed. Not even hit once. I hit there, the Shockwave comes in. Max roll this time, 42 damage, and I'm at 1 HP. Barely squeak it through. I'm like, it was a 43 for sure, and some bullshit happened, is what it is. But a 44.15 is a really good Surge time. I was still, like, more than happy with this.
Okay, need a potion.
Shiru, I think, just straight up gets a clean fight. On this fight, you're either double water pulsing if you know you're going to get hit into Torrent, but because Shiru was at full HP, he knew that wasn't going to happen. He was going to hit Torrent, so he needs to finish with Mega Kick. Hits, great, 44-45. So, around 30-second difference right now in between
Alright, this run is...
The runs.
I'm sorry, okay, Sparkle. Jeez.
So this is wait. Oh yeah, wait. Okay, so I will need to switch tabs. We get the bike voucher before leaving Vermilion. Obviously, you're gonna be on the bike basically the rest of the game. The way the movement works out, every walking tile is 16 frames, every running tile is 8 frames, and if you're on the bike in Fire Red Leaf Green, it is 6 frames for every tile. So definitely worth it to always ride the bike when you can. And actually, saying always ride the bike when you can, you're actually going to see that come up with, like, literally after the next trainer fight for both of us. So also, I'm gonna let this play out the first time on my screen. So I have a big menu. I got paralyzed. I'm at 1 HP, so I know I need a potion. I need to go and use and register the bike, as well as I am trying to move the TM case down to bike. I'm having such a terrible menu because I know I have like all of this on my mind. I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, remember all of this, and I like try to para-heal the rat. I try to like, or I back out of the bag once before I've even registered the bike, so I have to re-enter, and it's just so slow. I lose so much time. You could already see on screen I was 30 seconds ahead just from defeating Surge. Shiru's about to start doing the menu. But I haven't even left, like, I basically haven't left Cerulean yet. But I have, is it this one? Okay. So, one of the big things for Pokemon speedrunning is menuing. You're gonna, like, people sometimes meme about it, but, like, for sure, at the top level, your menus being crisp are going, like, can make or break whether your run stays on pace at times, because, like, knowing the positions of items in the bag, knowing the order in which you're going to do things beforehand, and just doing everything quick, having that execution really solidly. Like, you could lose just from, like, even if you do everything in the correct order and, like, you don't misuse an item or something like that. If you have slow scrolling or slow mashing, you could lose like a second and a half, sometimes 2 seconds, depending on how big of a menu it is. So right now I have this comparison. So this one, the timers aren't even, but it's gonna start with both of us leaving the bike shop, and you're gonna see how much time I lose from a bad menu.
No, dude.
Shiru didn't bother to move the TM case, which is also a little bit faster as well. I also have to do the Paralyze heal and the potion, so that's going to cost time too. But leaving the bag once is also just so bad.
He has very robotic in that one. Thank you, bro.
So he's already starting his trainer fight, and I had barely exited the menu. I lose so much time on this split. Basically, 70% of that time loss was just to this bad menu. And from doing, like, the extra stuff that I had to do. But we can get rid of that one, so maybe this will actually buffer good.
Hope it's hit kick minute.
Oh, they actually desynced a little bit. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna frame advance this very slowly on my end. Okay. What was... you know what? I don't even think I need that one.
Thank you, bro.
Oh.
I appreciate you, my friend. How is life lately?
So yeah, with Fire Red Leaf Green, like, you kind of know it's like kind of just an RNG fest. Like, are you going to hit your kicks? Are you going to hit your blizzards? Is Koga gonna poison you?
Oh, dude, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just things like that. I miss a kick here, and like I said earlier, I don't have Awakening, so I'm so scared of getting slept. It uses Poison Powder, which could have been bad, but it ends up missing a 25% chance, and then I hit the kick. So, no sweat. But yeah, missing a kick on Alicia sucks most of the time, because then you're just gonna have to spend a turn healing the status condition. You see me do a run to bike there. I got off my bike before fighting Alicia. Shiru is gonna stay on his bike, and he's gonna dismount after the ledge. And it's basically the same pass. We both took the same exact tile path to pass the hiker spinner. But like I said, 6 frames biking, 8 frames running. So more tiles you do on the bike, technically the faster it is. So his pass is faster than mine. Kind of just like the pass that I do is kind of just like default. Most people just dismount before a trainer and then just start running. I think there's some people that like ride the bike all the way to the run tile, dismount, run the 1 tile, mount again, and you're off. And that's the fastest way to pass, but that's just so crazy. Also, I said I had no Awakening, so you saw me pick up the hidden Chesto Berry there. Because once again, like, I know this run is good, and if I get slept on Martha... Oh yeah, that's exactly why I actually picked up the Chesto Berry. I'm gonna pause real quick. So, the reason why I picked up the Chesto Berry is specifically because I have a modest Squirtle. So Shiru and I both know there's a fight in Rock Tunnel. Martha, she has an Oddish and a Bulbasaur, and normally the script for that fight is Mega Kick twice and the fight's over. You're gonna one-shot both. However, when I was listing the different Squirtle natures earlier, Rash, Mild, Modest. Modest is minus attack, so this is one of the fights where it hurts. It can affect you on Boat Rival too, but we both hit our ranges, so it doesn't matter. But for Martha, it's for sure under 50%, I think, to one-shot with Mega Kick, her Oddish. And when you don't one-shot an Oddish, it's so bad because it knows Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, like, it's just bad. So with Modest, you don't even bother to go for the kick because you're likely not going to hit the range, and you're just going to two-shot anyway. So what you do is you go in and you lead Bite, and you just hope you get the 30% flinch, or you hope you crit, you know. Also a great outcome. But yeah, that was the reason I picked up the Chesto Berry, because I know I'm not going to kill that Oddish in 1 turn, and if on that 1 turn I don't flinch and it decides to use Sleep Powder and it hits, I could lose 5 turns. And the run can't be over because it can't damage you from that point, but I would literally just have to like wait till I woke up. So that's why I grabbed the Chesto.
Double input, other.
Rock Tunnel looks kind of hard, like, since you obviously only have that little circle to see everything. But, like, when you play the game enough, for sure, and when you've gone through Rock Tunnel a bunch of times, it's easy to remember the layout.
Oh, I love that.
Almost to the point where I feel like it's almost like... It's definitely...
Then
like Rock Tunnel is not that hard IMO. Like it's with a little bit of practice you should be able to get it. But doing perfect Rock Tunnel where you're actually like
is it really
not taking any extra steps and you're not bonking anything, that's when I think it's really impressive, because then that's really hard when you're actually doing perfect movement in the dark. Like it's, oh my god, so stressful, and it requires so many visual cues. I had really good slowpokes here. So the first slowpoke, both of these slowpokes are normally 2 shots. That one is like a 1 in 16 to die to bite 1 shot, and the other one's, I think, for me it was like 1 in 16 or 2 in 16 because I have 30 special. But I crit the first one and then I flinched the second one, so save time in both areas there. So I'm gonna bite the Oddish.
I don't like
hoping no, or well, I was hoping for Sweet Scent because Sweet Scent's 1 in 4, and you just go. But no, I had to heal paralysis. I think Shiru gets Sweet Scent. No, oh yeah, he gets Poison Powder. I forgot. So Poison Powder actually for Shiru in this situation is kind of good because if you can work yourself to low HP for Rocket Hideout and for the Geo fight, it's really good because you could it could tank Kinga from a 3-shot to a 2-shot, which is always nice. But the risk is obviously if he misses a kick, he is for sure, or he's very likely dead. Actually, just for sure dead because that Bulbasaur was either going to use Vine Whip or Razor Leaf because he was already status. But overall, like, great play. Because now he has pretty good HP from here. It won't be Torrent all the way to Geo, but if he gets a few quick attacks, it will, which, I mean, like, you can always depend on time loss in Fire Red Leaf Green, so...
If you don't hug the...
So I think up to this point in my run, I was having a perfect rock tunnel. Until that, I didn't talk to him.
If you're one away from the wall,
and I was like, come on.
Not to you still.
To this day, I'm still working on a run that will get a perfect rock tunnel. Doesn't choke, but just like, also another thing. Oh, whoa. Oh, wait, it's because I don't have a full screen. No.
I think I'm just gonna do it.
Another thing,
it does indeed save
I didn't
time.
mean to warp on you, damn it.
That's no lie.
oh god, I completely forgot where I was at. Anyway.
He actually likes this game.
I'm gonna say... Oh yeah, so the first Onyx on the fight that Shiru's on, and the one that I'm on, we're both on the same fight. It's a 13 and 16 range to die to bite. Shiru accidentally uses Water Gun, and you accidentally use it because it gives you a super effective text box, so you lose a little bit of time. But like really, in all honesty, it's like whatever. Honestly, Water Gunning that Onyx, especially on good runs, is worth it over missing the range with Bite just to save a second.
Even after the Rock Tunnel Spinner, that's pretty good.
There's an input to Mega Kick. Yeah, that's what I was thinking right now. Because you can just select the Mega Kick.
Between now and Slime Rocket.
Okay.
I don't have to use an extra kick.
This is where I wish I could speed up, because like some points of the Fire Red Leaf Green run is definitely just autopilot, kind of, because you're just like one-shotting everything, and it's just like pay attention and do the movement correctly. That's in between the fights. And you're mainly just like, you're trying to get past the pinch points, all the rival fights, the Surge fight. The Surge fight's obviously the biggest one, but the other like huge pinch point in Fire Red Leaf Green runs is this entire split. Like I said earlier, backbone of this run is 14 Mega Kicks that you need to hit, and 5 of them are on this split. So, just so much variance, obviously. If you hit all your kicks, it's really good. You can have a really good split. If you miss them, you're obviously going to lose time. And this is the point where, like, missing on Odyshes is going to lose you even more time because of status. I do a run to bike there on the spinner. But mess up the movement here. I take an extra step down, and then when I readjust, I think I'm not high enough because I went an extra tile down, so I go an extra tile up, and I read it wrong, and I take an extra tile up, so I'm just bad at bike.
Okay, but this time still might not be that bad as long as I hit the kick.
So yeah, I already know I had a bad split because I had the really long menu, and I missed a kick on Alicia. If I were to miss the kick here, I know this run's like, now the run's pretty garbage. Like, or at least like all the pace is gone if I had missed that kick, for sure. Also, so people split in different places. I split exiting Rock Tunnel. I get a 55-15 Rock Tunnel. Shiru, okay, yeah, Shiru splits on Mart exit. When I build my comparisons to people, I just look through their VOD. He exits 55-28, so on my splits, I have it as a 55-28 Rock Tunnel split for him. But funny enough, I fuck up the lavender menu because I'm trying to fast scroll instead of doing the like one left and then down to your number. So I actually lose time in the little bit of extra split that Shiru has. I think, yeah, he has a 55-53 Mart exit, and I think mine was like... It was 40-something, so I know he's within 10 seconds of me.
Did not expect that.
And yeah, definitely, also Shiru has... He has a pretty good Rock Tunnel split. Like, not a whole lot of bad shit that happened. And I just...
It's one more input. So fast.
Didn't play as well for sure in the beginning, so I lose about 17 seconds there. So, I was pretty ahead after Surge, but like the rest of the run, it's pretty close until like I reach my next huge mistake, which I'll talk to when we get there.
Oh my god,
Right down is more consistent. For me, it's not. Maybe it's about preference, Cooker.
Also, I didn't mention it right now when I did it, but Shiru is going to dismount here. Boom. Because if you go up that ladder while you're on the bike, it's gonna like dismount for you and then have you walk up the stairs. But if you dismount, you like... It's essentially like a faster dismount almost. Like, there's less lag when you walk up the stairs, and there's less audio lag on the transition, so it's just better. More obviously hard to do. The Shiru says it can still save time even if you dismount 2 tiles from the stairs and you run it in. I haven't done any of the timings to know for sure if like any of that's accurate or not. I just know obviously the fastest way to go is to dismount the final tile. So what was my health at? My health was... I can't remember what my health was. Either way, that Raticate on that Rocket Grunt is the last Mega Kick in the run. Well, no. Should not say that either. It's the last 75% Mega Kick that you have to hit in the run sometimes. If you have Torrent, you can just Water Pulse. But, you know, sometimes a kick is a kick. But anyway, once you pass the kicks, this is when the game finally gets good. We're an hour in, baby. This is the action. Beating up a Rocket Grunt so he drops a key.
You just hit 52 for lappers, yeah. Don't unleash battle. Okay, Albert, thank you. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you for telling me.
Alright, so I have 26, Shiru has 18. So, the plan here during the route is that you're going to fight 2 more rockets that are coming up. They're going to get you, combined like with their total experience, gets you to level 34, and then you candy twice to Blastoise. So, in terms of like managing your HP and trying to keep Torrent for like as much of the split and route as you can, you have to account for like you're gonna gain about 15 HP from evolving.
No, he's a ribbon player.
And then you're gonna gain probably about 5 from using the rare candies. So you have to like take that into account with the HP you have. So right now, even though Shiru is in red bar and he has 18 HP, he likely isn't going to have Torrent unless he takes some damage. Me, I'm in yellow bar Torrent, which I know for sure is definitely not going to give me Torrent for Geo. At least having Torrent for this point is okay, because
I don't have to warp
on the second fight, the one that I'm doing, the Arbok at the end is a 10 and 16, possibly 11 and 16 depending on the IV range with Water Pulse. So you just go for that, obviously. So it can save a turn.
Here's an artist.
Yeah, that's why
I have.
if you leave Rock
very
Tunnel with very low
specific
HP, it's really
memories
good
of these Ekans
because you can carry it
in round 2.
through this entire hideout,
Like
save the turn on
This one
Ekans,
has 74%
and then you can
range,
save the
but
turn
other ones
on
have 41%
Geo.
range, or 47.
Which, if you save 2 turns, like, in this split, there's definitely not a whole lot of variance. So, saving 2 turns is a pretty big swing, if you can get it. Actually, so I rewatched these videos, but I don't remember if I get this range or not. Don't get it. Oh, but Confuse. I always have mixed feelings about Confusion. So here it killed, so it helped overall. Because the entire battle with that Arbok lasted 1 turn. But Confusion text is so slow. Seeing if the Pokemon's going to hit or not is also slow. So I just like, it's always troll, I think, when that happens, when, you know, you could have just killed.
I'm at 32.
Or in my case, like, I could have just missed the range, and then it could have
46.
done Bite Crit into actual Torrent for the Geo fight.
Pretty sure.
Lol. We're actually both evolving. These runs are so close. On my split, I lost time from bad shopping when I did the 4 ropes and 7 super repel menu.
She's more of a Sreedom person now.
Geo. So, oh yeah, so,
Gonna be
if I was wondering,
That is
like, gym leaders and your rival
good.
have, like, what the game considers smart AI. And Geo does at some point too. When he is a gym leader, he has smart AI. However, whenever you fight him and he's leading Team Rocket,
Range.
he
Please
has
don't
dumb
miss this.
AI.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now I don't need to
Shiru,
heal.
how did Shiru get the 2-shot? I can't remember how Shiru got into... How he got into Torrent here. But very good split from Shiru. He, like, now takes the lead. I have to get the 3-shot. Luckily for me, I'm in the 40 HPs still. And that's kind of around the HP range you want to be at, entering the next fight, which is Tower Rival. Shiru was in the low 30s, so he plays safe and potions. But this is where we do the shopping for the X items for the rest of the run.
I never remember this split.
And there's 2 strategies you can buy for. I'm buying for the X attack strategy on Tower Arrival. And Shiru is buying for the X special one. So the X special one is... I think it's on average faster. The way Shiru's fight works out is he has... What is it? He expects twice, and then goes for a Bite range or a Water Pulse range on Ivysaur, and then 2 shots Gyarados, and 1 shots everything else. Whereas the X attack fight, you spend 3 turns setting up instead of 2. You do Guard Spec, X-Sack, X attack, and then you
Really close.
1 shot all of the pokes guaranteed, but all your kicks are 99%. But you 1-shot the Ivysaur for sure, and you 1-shot the Gyarados for sure. And if you happen to have like 5 kicks somehow, who knows? You could literally like kick down all of Gary's team, which is hilarious. And technically faster. Here we're doing this little like fly menu. You super repel, equip black glasses, toss the moonstone. That one's like kind of optional, but people do it to save menu. scrolling.
Because that word is only bad in America.
Another thing for this game, when you enter some locations, when you enter, there's a load like that where it shows you a picture. And for some of them, if you hold B, it'll make them go away super quick. And that's something that, like it's not really in the notes necessarily. I'm pretty sure it's not in any notes that I've ever seen.
You think so?
Yeah,
I should be.
But if you're not doing it, like, it definitely can save you a second to a second and a half each time you do it. And it works in Tower, it works entering Rock Tunnel and Victory Road.
Here. I'm not gonna go to +3 here.
I think maybe one other place.
Of
I get a pretty good Tower Rival fight. Setup's perfect. 22 HP is very good. Very, very good, actually. Shiru still needs to take damage here. But the Gyarados is 2-shot anyway. But plays a little risky, uses Bite, which is a 30% chance to flinch. But in his opinion, it's okay. Because he could just stall somewhere else. But now he's at good HP.
Okay, so 24 defense, right? I mean, maybe I should have gone to +3. It's just.
Oh well, there's only one IV.
It was best though.
Differentiating our defensive IVs. He has 24 and I have 23.
Okay.
So Tower, you spray Super Repel in the fly menus to basically just like save a menu. You don't have to repel in here. Shiru is getting to, and then I'm going to get to after a spinner pass, which happens when you enter this room. It's this spinner. So you saw, it was so sudden. It's so sudden. If you watch my screen, also extremely sudden. The way this spinner pass works, it's weird because I believe she's loaded in the room when you walk in, which makes passing her in a place where you're limited to only walking makes it a little bit difficult, because by the time you reach the tile right before her, she's going to be in the middle of her, cycles, basically. Like, she'll be, like, if she can decide on frame 200 to spin and frame 180, she's essentially on frame 188 by the time you get to that tile. So it's bad timing. If you decide to walk, she can catch you. Shiru didn't do it at the same place that I did, but we both did the same type of spinner pass in this room, which is you have two options when you enter. You can bonk off of the gravestone that's in front of you and turn up, and that kills the turn frame, which is fast. Or you can just hold up and take the turn frame. So that advances an extra 8 frames. But it's still not enough. You still need to delay a little bit more. So once Shiru reached the tile where he needed to start walking right, he basically took a turn frame's worth of time loss. Essentially. And with the first turn frame plus that turn frame, you're going to get the time needed where the cycle is going to line up again to where when you get to the tile, she'll have to decide. And I just do the pause, usually one tile before the tile I need to pause at. But both of us do it and make it through fine. But definitely, just because of the circumstances surrounding that spinner pass, it's definitely one of my favorite spinner passes to execute in the run. Oh yeah, I'll add more notes actually, because I was originally gonna add time loss, things to the notes, but I don't know, it might be too much to work to kind of work out. So I had bad boat rival, but then I got, what is it? Third can, first try.
If I get one quick attack.
into Terrible Surge.
Yeah.
Or not Terrible Surge,
Yeah.
into
That's the only
Time Loss. Surge. Shiro up to this point. So tower is pretty basic. I'm not even gonna bother. Like there's nothing really to commentate here. You're just one-shotting a bunch of ghastlies.
I don't want to use it though. Pretty low.
I mean, okay, like meme to commentate here. You pick up this rare candy. Unlike Pokemon Red, you can't use a Pokédoll to skip this ghost encounter. So you go through Rocket Hideout. You have to get the Sylph Scope in order to see this. I've actually had at least one run that got to this point and realized I never picked up the Sylph Scope after defeating Geo. And that's a dead run. So, can't make that mistake. Also, like, what is it? One of the... Why is that error there? I thought those would disappear. Anyway. One of, like, this is more like of a well-known, like, trivia thing, but that Marowak has perfect IVs, 31 IVs across the board.
I think it was.
So you actually need to use Water Pulse to kill it, and I think you do need Torrent. Because I know Torrent Water Gun doesn't kill.
Right now, I would be at around...
Maybe, yeah. So... Third try, first try, Time Loss Surge. What other notes for me? Bad bike menu. Bad lavender.
That's also
shot. And Shiro had bad cans for sure. Terrible cans. He had a decent rock tunnel split, like nothing over, like extremely good, nothing extremely bad. And then his Geo split was pretty good. Torrent Geo split. Oh, whoa. There we go. The rocket's on the top floor, you one-shot everything. Like, it's faster to walk straight up the middle here, which is like, it's so weird because normally we talk to all of the other trainers that we fight. There's several factors that play into walking down the middle being faster. One thing is that this is a place where you're restricted to walking speed, 16 frames, so you can't, like, it's not worth it to take the extra tiles to talk to someone when they're just going to be walking that same walking speed towards you, even if you didn't move to them. But the other thing is that when the rockets leave after their fights, they head down, like, to the stairs or whatever. But they, like, if you talk to them from, like, the sides, they'll be done talking to you, they'll walk towards the middle and then walk down. If you walk straight up the middle, the rockets walk to you, and instead of walking towards the middle, most of them just walk straight down, because they'll like get off screen before they reach the stairs, and that counts, which is also what helps make the middle route faster. The Pokeflute split I just did was a very good split because I think Shiro got like a 9-14 split and I got a 9-13 split for our flute splits. And that's pretty tough to get. Like, you getting quick attack at the end by rats can hurt you, getting a bad rival fight hurts. Yeah, overall, I know I took the slower tower rival fight. I wanted to take the safer tower rival fight on purpose with X attack, because I just wanted this run to like not take an unusual, or like not take a risk it didn't need to take, because I just wanted 201.
You have to.
So I did the X attack strats. You saw we grabbed the T. We have to avoid Clefairy and Nito. They can be annoying. I think I got blocked once. Oh wow, I didn't know. I completely missed that Shiro went into the Pokemon menu there. So that's time loss. We're both going to do the same biker pass here, which is over the top. You have to do a slight delay in between those pauses in order for the spinner clocks to line up again, because it's one of those cases again where you get to the second point, you're technically at like 60 frames, and the next time it can spin the clock is on 64. So you have, or no, wait, no, you get there at 56, and the next time it can spin is 64. But to pass is dangerous, basically. So you have to delay the extra 8 frames and give him the chance to spin. And in my run, he actually does spin again, but luckily not in a direction that requires a different path to be taken.
I'll just go for the range.
Also, you see Shiru and I have different money here, and that's because of the different shopping we did in Celadon.
Yeah, I need to have turn 4 squeezing. Otherwise, I'm just fucking duck. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of fucking myself if I don't do that. Go for the range.
Safari Zone. Safari Zone, you pick up full restore, you pick up the golden teeth.
Like this. He wants to bark really
Actually, it's gold teeth. Oh no, I thought it was golden teeth. Shiru and I basically in sync.
Meadows just growling a lot.
It's funny to see. Oh, Shiru has slot 2 bird. I have slot 1. What a loser losing time because of bad catch luck. No, I'm kidding.
Try again.
Oh yeah, another interesting thing. So, oh wow, I had to wait for the spinner and lost time. So we teach surf here. You get surf by getting to the end of Safari Zone. You finally have a 95 power base power move that works off your stat power. And so you saw Shiru talk to this juggler, and I walked in front of him and let him see me. So there's a spinner that comes up after this fight. And once again, this is a location where you're forced to just only be walking. And the way the tiles line up, again, by the time you reach the tile, he'll be like 7 or 8 frames away from the next time he can actually decide to spin again. So if you just walk through, there's a chance that you'll get caught. So you have to, like, there's different ways to pass him. What Shiru is going to do is he is going to bonk off this juggler, going to get to the tile he needs, that's right before the spinner, and then he's going to do a Gen 4 pass. And that's doing like 2 turn frames, and in that time, if he hasn't turned, you're good. I'm doing a different pass. What you saw, it was just a straight up pause pass, and it was quick, boom, I walked through.
Alright, Golgum, here we go.
For
So you don't get my
Shear's pass, you have to do turn frames, and that, like, the time it takes you to do the turn frames advances that window to where you can meet the next spinner cycle. Because I walked into the juggler's vision, that put me on a different tile than where Shiru was at. I was put on a tile where that spinner is already loaded. So when I left the fight, his clock went to 0, and by the time I reached the tile I needed to pass, it lined up perfectly with his cycle already. So I know I can just pause immediately. If he hasn't spun, I can walk safely, for sure, and I'll never get caught. God, Muck Minimize is really scary when you see it. It's like the Koga fight is already not going well before you even get to the coughing range, or the wheezing range. Shiru plays risky and gets rewarded with a crit. I was so panicked. I didn't know what to do.
It high rolled.
It did high roll me on the sledge to 1 HP. I really didn't know what the correct play was. I was like, do I go for the range? And I was thinking in my head like, oh god, and then I miss it, and then he heals, and it's just so slow. Like, whereas I could just do the bite surf and just hope for the best. And that's what I did. Like, oh, and obviously bite surf, you risk just dying if you get sludge poison. But, you know, didn't get poisoned. The run was alive. And it ended up being my first 118 Koga. Which is what I'm saying in the VOD now. But I was just like, it didn't matter to me the extra time lost from bite. I knew that to match Shiru's split, I would have needed to YOLO. But I was fine just taking the time loss. I was like, who cares? I'm just gonna keep my sanity and bite. And if I flinch, awesome. If I don't, just don't get poisoned and it's fine.
You got this, bro. Stuff. I believe in you, friend. Your love.
So, in my PB, this is a gold Blaine split. This is definitely one of the better Blaine splits that I've done. I think I had a race Blaine that was better than this, but the only mistake is entering this building here.
Oh wait, that was the wrong
thing. So I ran like 4 tiles and then I biked in, and that is like the exact opposite of what you need to do. Because Shiru did it the right way. You bike 4 tiles and then you run in.
Oh well.
And that kills the most audio lag when you... Or that kills the most transition lag when you enter the mansion. Mine, I'm pretty sure, got... I think max. Like max transition lag. Because I rode the bike in. After mounting it quickly. But... Okay, so... Both of us got the 5 speed EVs that we needed at 31 speed IV to be able to outspeed Sabrina's Alakazam later without needing to pick up the Carbos that you would pick up in Mansion, which makes both of our splits really fast. This is like when you don't need to pick up the Carbos, it's the fastest version of the Blaine split. You skip it completely, you're only picking up Blizzard and then you're out.
I'm having a rad idea.
I mean, obviously you pick up the Secret Key too. You need to get into the gym. So Shiru at the time was like going back and forth between round 2 runs and any percent runs. So in round 2, this is the area. Oh, no. So either way, in round 2, this is the area where you teach Blizzard. I'm not completely sure if Shiru did the teach with Blizzard there on purpose, or if he just did it out of habit because he had been running round 2. I remember in his VOD, he says specifically one of the things he's worried about is leveling out of Torrent for Erica, because if you level out of Torrent for Erica, you have to use 1 more Blizzard than you're planning to. It goes from a 1 Blizzard fight to a 2 Blizzard fight, and those are only 70% accurate moves, so, like, better if you can just use a Surf on one of them. But Shiru, kind of maybe making a play if he... so he was talking about how if he... This.
Does Victreebel die at level 42?
So he's considering delaying the candies that we would normally take in Erica's gym. Which, like, that's a staple. If you're doing the world record Fire Red Leaf free 90% run, you're kind of doing twice in Sabrina's... Or no, in Erica's gym from 42 to 44. But he's talking about skipping the candies. So if he skipped the candies to stay in Torrent for the fight, then teaching Blizzard in the menu that he did is a Galaxy Brain move. Because then if he's not going to candy, and he already taught Blizzard, then he doesn't need to do a menu at all in Erica's gym.
You could be dying to Erica, yeah?
Which is incredibly fast. You would think teaching Blizzard is a mistake anyway, or like, it doesn't matter really where you teach it, because, like, since you're going to be candying in Erica's gym anyway, you could just do it in that menu, or you could just do it in the menu that he did it here. But if he was going to skip candying, then Galaxy Brain, because then he doesn't have to do any menu at all, because he already taught Blizzard.
I was just being pessimistic, because it's better.
But yeah, like but teaching Blizzard there is so non-standard. Like you never see anyone who is in any percent run, like unless they're running round 2 recently, like Shiru does, or Shiru was at the time. You never teach Blizzard there. You never see it get taught there. So on my splits in my run, I'm ahead of Shiru by 12 seconds. And I, like, at the time I hadn't seen all of Shiru's world record run. Like, I had skimmed through parts. And I was like, how am I even 12 seconds ahead? Like, I had no doubt in my head it had to be a Blizzard teach. Even though I knew nothing about what had actually happened in Shiru's run. But I was like, there's no way this time loss is actually... Or there's no way this delta is actually accurate. I gotta...
Just pathetic, by the way.
Yeah, just keep going. I'm probably gonna be... I was thinking, like, I'm probably just gonna be behind by the time I finish Erica anyway. Like, it's just gonna rebalance out. Saying no to Bill here is easily... Saying yes or no is the biggest time swing in the run. By far. If you say yes, run's over because you need to spend, like, 10 to 15 minutes.
You have speed for the Cubone in Rock Tunnel. That was not funny.
Sorry, I got a text.
Super repels. Super repel. Okay, so I should potion first, then candy.
I forgot what I was even saying.
Fuck. Which one should I do first? I guess.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the Blaine split. So yeah, Shiru's gonna gain some time back by not having to teach Blizzard. And I'm also gonna lose a little bit more time since I have to, or since I'm going to potion here. And normally, like, so like on a Rash Squirtle in this scenario, I would never bother potioning. Wouldn't make sense because potion doesn't save me from a Giga Drain. Because I have a modest Squirtle, I can actually tank the Giga Drain. So I'm like, okay, a potion actually makes sense, even if it's kind of like slower in this menu. And I could just YOLO if I just hit the Blizzard, obviously. Like, it doesn't matter.
Alright. We're close to esports, Chad. Pleased to meet you.
Oh my god. And I answer the bag again. Ugh. I'm telling you, like, menuing mistakes lose so much time. Like, so much of the time I lose to Shiru. Just like, when it's regular stuff is just like me doing bad menus. Like, bad menuing is by far worse than bad movement, actually, in terms of, like, the actual time you lose. Because, like, if you bonk or something... like, okay, if your movement's bad to a point, if you hit an optional, it's obviously too bad. It's really bad, but... Or it would be something you need to work on. But, like, menuing is, like, not necessarily something feel like they need to work on, but, like, just, like, little errors like that, like, you're gonna lose so much time over the course of the entire run, unless you get it, like, all smooth across the entirety of the run. If you're losing it every now and then, here and there, like, if I have 4 different spots where I mess up a menu like that, like, I'm gonna lose, like, depending on the mistakes, I could lose over 10 seconds. Which, I mean, considering the end times of these runs, like, like, those little things are where, like, are what make, the time that your run is at the end, basically. Like, if I hadn't messed up so many menus, like, I could have made different decisions at the end of the run. Like, maybe I do something else. We'll also talk to that when we get there.
Wow, I actually
that's cool.
flew to Celadon without trying to go to Saffron.
Tashiro talks about flying to Celadon instead of Saffron. Because in round 2 you would fly to Saffron. Normally, after the Erica fight. Well, no, wait. No, after Erica in round 2 you would fly to Fuchsia. But I know what she was trying to say, kind of. Oh yeah.
What's lower?
I skipped over it because like I'm an idiot and I didn't catch it. When we were talking to the security guard to give the teas, Shiru biked up one and talked to him, and I just biked across, and then like he saw me and I went up. It was like it's brought up in Shiru's run actually. It was literally Pokeguide timed it like the same week that Shiru got this world record, I think. That it was just slightly faster to not go up to the guard and just to let him see you, and then you go up.
What? What the fuck? How is that slower?
Also, Shiru gets some bad luck here with a bad spinner.
Hi. Can you fucking stop? Thank you. Excellent.
Shiru also heals to 90 HP, which is it's on the high side, but it's still like acceptable, kind of. I healed straight into I think 82 HP, which is like literally in the notes. That's like I think it's like 78 to 82 is where you want to be at. So it was perfect HP for me. I was not many times you go into this fight where it's like perfect HP on one heal, but you know, you can get lucky sometimes.
That makes no sense.
Alright, so
It's just some time I found somewhere, and it has Pokeguy's final time at the end.
we're gonna get into the Sylph rival fight, and I'm actually gonna move over to this view sync. Because this is whenever I like look over this video just for like things I need to know, or I just want to like remember the good times, Kappa. I like have a hard time watching this because for me this is where I lost any chance of world record in my head after this fight. I was like it's like, and it sucked because I knew it all fell on me, or like some of it was not on me, but the large amount of time loss that I incurred from this fight was something that I could have helped and prevented. And another reason why like I made decisions that I did at the end of the run, and it was because of like how bad I reacted to events in this fight, that I considered like, all right, well, world record's done. Like I'm like, if I was gonna get world record this run, I would have played better in this fight, and you're gonna see why.
Time I found somewhere, and it has Pokeguy's final time at the end. I'm lazy.
So in this fight, you can expect once or you can expect twice. Sometimes that depends on like what health you have. Shiru and I are both gonna expect twice, and that's good because it guarantees Blizzard on Gyarados. You also X accuracy to make sure you hit your Blizzards, and I get crit, which is pretty unlucky. This Pidgeot also has quick attack, so it's guaranteed to use it here.
No?
And it knocks me to 48, which is not Torrent. Slimping, thank you so much for the raid.
Shut off the stereo.
It's not Torrent, and I know I need lower damage for sure going into Geo and going into Sabrina. So I don't know if you can really tell there. But like I just take down the Pidgeot at that point, and Shiru is now blizzarding the Gyarados. But basically, like, I get, like, upset with myself for how I played during that part, because there was so much time lost in the menu from me panicking and not knowing what to do. Like, because I really can't, before this crit on this Sylph Rival happened, I can't remember the last time I got crit by Pidgeot on the Sylph Rival fight. It was even a miracle I remembered that I had quick attack. It had been that long, but I was just like, I was so panicked. I was like, fuck, how do I heal? What do I use? Do I take more damage? Do I go? And I was like trying to decide all this in my head at the time, and like just watching back the fight. This is the view sync that's back to timer synced. but like literally, well, after I get crit, if you just like look at all the time I spend in the bag, it's so much. Like, I think I lose close to 15 seconds just in the bag, and it's like, and I knew in my head that like that's unacceptable. Because
really bad.
At this point in my Fire Red Leaf Green grind, I was playing really well. I had done the tournament. I had been playing so much Fire Red Leaf Green over the past 2 years, and this was the game that I played the most growing up, probably, out of all the Pokemon games for sure. Or, well, no, not that, but...
You know that already.
If you watch the VOD, she even says it. But, yeah, like, I felt really good playing Fire Red Leaf Green because I was playing really close to my golds on, like, almost every split, barring very bad RNG. I was playing pretty close to like my peak every single time, which is why I was so upset when I let all this time loss happen on this fight, because like the crit happens, whatever, you can super potion, you do something else, and then you move on. But I was just so panicked in the moment. I lost like 15 to 20 seconds deciding if I surf again. No, I have to go into the bag. Oh, do I heal again? No, healing again is terrible. Like, it was just so much time loss from just thinking in my own head. And it was almost demoralizing because like I had played the rest of this run so well and played close to my golds on nearly every split, and I felt like I was playing smart everywhere, and this is the one huge mistake. Like, obviously, if this doesn't happen, like, my PB's world record for sure. Assuming I get the same luck the rest of the way, but, like, who can even speak to that? But absolutely, for sure, if, like, all the extra time I spent in the bag and, like, looking at moves when I should have just been acting, like, if I had just been acting in the menus instead of, like, thinking and, like, stalling or just not knowing what to do, it could have been world record. So that's why I knew, like, after that had happened and with how bad I had treated the menus, I was like, well, this run isn't world record at this point. Like, I knew I was a little bit behind after Erica. That happens, and I'm like, well, like, is what it is. Like, I was sad because I felt like I'd played really well, and it was like, well, this is the one mistake that I know I'm gonna remember. Like, whenever I look back at this run, it's gonna be how terrible I played, responding to the Pidgeot crit. Hello, Cooker. Let's add more notes now that we're a little bit further in. The only thing important to note on the Geofight is that Kanga is a 13 and 16 range with Surf. Shiru's Shiru's not going to have Torrent for Sabrina's gym if he doesn't take damage, and gets a really, really good fake out. Gives him Torrent for the rest of the Torrent he needs for Kanga, as well as for the rest of Sabrina's gym, so he's all set. I believe I missed the Kanga range. Oh, which sucks. I mean, is what it is. Torrent Geo split. What is it? Good flute.
No, dude.
Good flute. Good flute.
I lose time here?
Oh, okay, yeah. It was. Okay, fake out into get range isn't like it's exactly what Shiro got. Good flute. Wheezing range.
I'm not happy to do that because you actually read the sign there in Soul Silver.
Top Blizzard.
No, you have to
Mansion. Whoa. Just had a bad Lavender Shop. I also had a good flute, but I'm not gonna bother to write it twice.
Shoutouts to having good speed.
Focus was fine. Gold Blaine was really good. Erica was fine. I'm just gonna write terrible crit reaction in Sylph. Oh, I had caps lock on. Whatever. But yeah, in my head for sure, the way I reacted to getting crit on that fight, in my head, that was record over.
I'm I'm
Fight
losing so much time with
Josh?
Shiro.
I did fight Josh. Not the best time to download
So-
that.
Not things I could really.
The reason why getting the 5 speed EVs was so important for both of us earlier in this run was because of this fight. You hit 100 speed right before Alakazam, and you can naturally outspeed it. Normally, what happens is you would Carbos. You would grab the Carbos to be
Why am I
faster
saving time?
than the Abra, if your speed is like at a certain point and if it's high enough. But some Squirtles, even with the Carbos, can outspeed it, so you would just need to X speed somewhere on the fight to guarantee that. And in most cases, you would X speed on Venomoth. And Venomoth always uses Psybeam, which has a 10% chance to confuse, which, like, 10% slow, but getting
my
confused
game's
into
not fake.
50-50s this late into your run is fucking terrible. So it saves so much time on the Blade Split. It saves time here because you don't have to use a Carbos to
My
outspeed,
baby's not
and
fake.
then you don't have to do anything else in the actual Sabrina fight. But, like, let's see. I had... Oh, yeah, another demoralizing thing was that in my PB, I also have a really bad self-split in general. It was over 8 minutes. And it's bad because, like, Shiro gets, like, a 743, I think. And you can get as low as, like, a 735 or even lower. Like, if the split's really good. And I had, like, an 801 split. And I was like, oh, like, I could definitely save time on that. Especially on a 31 speed Squirtle. Like, I know I can save time on PB there. Like, it's practically a given. And then, like, I act so bad to the crit on Self-Rival that this split actually ends up slower than my PB. It ends up like an 802 or an 803 self-split, which is, like, in my head, that is an unacceptable split if you're searching for world record. Because that means you, like, basically lost anywhere from, like, 16 to 24 seconds
Narrow twat.
over an ideal split. And losing that much time in Fire Leaf Ring just, like, it's gonna change your run. Geo, nothing really important happens in Geo. Like, I might just actually see if I could skip the rest of the gym because... Oh wait, no, this is still... I'm not even on the Geo fight. Come on. Okay,
Rope?
there we go.
Right?
Yeah. I like... Oh, no. No!
thank
The desync, the desync. Okay. Do 190. That's fine. Okay.
The best squad you can have at this point of the game.
So,
Mollies with high defenses.
in this gym, it's literally just like spam surf on almost everything.
Thank you.
Some things you water pulse.
even do that
You,
if
you
you
just
don't
need to make sure you have 3 surfs left for the rival fight.
True.
And you can sometimes even like make it
We
with
go
2.
down to escape super repels then.
It's
Then we
not
go
that
up
like
to
it's
whatever
not
the
that
fuck.
stringent.
I need to select scroll, I think so.
Oh yeah, it was like, man, it was a thrill knowing I was like neck and neck with Shiro on his run. It was crazy that I was able to keep it up all the way to self.
Thank you for the good luck.
Because Shiro's like a crazy good runner. I know his run was really good, and I know his run was really good for sure because I was there for sure watching it live. But I also knew Shiro played champ extra safe,
Alright, just don't.
so there was definitely opportunity
I actually think
for like a decent chunk of time save as long as I kept even with Shiro. Like, it was a possible world record as long as you're like really, if you're right around him and you get to E4, you have a decent chance at world record because you're definitely gonna make up time unless you get absolutely screwed over on the champ fight and it's just like you crit, and it's like, oh well.
What Alright, this fight is not free.
This is the last rival fight before E4.
Shiru.
And this is, it's like a more unique kind of fight because this is one of the rival fights that, like, if you want to, you could skip an Exac. Gunner, when he was running Fire Red Leaf 90%, rerouted this fight to make sure that it had an Exac as well. Like, he, like, did the money rerouting to make sure that an extra Exac could be afforded. But missing a Blizzard on this fight isn't necessarily make or break because Venusaur most of the time doesn't have a move that can one-shot you unless you took decent damage from Pidgeot. And especially because Shiru and I are modest here, both of us can easily take... Well, Shiru got crit, so he can't take a Razor Leaf if he were to miss his Blizzard. But if he hadn't gotten crit, he definitely could have tanked a Razor Leaf. Another reason why having Modest Nature late game is so good. Oh yeah, I totally forgot I golded Geo. Geo 3 golds are so fucking random, like...
Dude, how is not that?
And yeah, there it is. I miss Blizzard on this fight, and like... for a second I forget that I'm modest, and I'm probably going to tank the Razor Leaf even if it uses it. But I was like... Fucking of course. I was like, I played bad and self like I played terribly on that fight, and this is the karma. This is the karma. I missed the 93% Blizzard and I'm gonna die. I was like, God fucking damn it. And as you can see on screen, Venusaur used growth. I've literally never once... This is... At the time, it was my 10,000th or 14,597th run. And it was literally the first time I ever found out this thing had growth. I thought it only had growth on the champ fight. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I'm gonna raise the volume, I literally just start laughing.
Okay.
I was like, fuck me, whatever. I was like, okay. I guess the run's
I
continuing.
don't think I've ever seen growth on this fight.
But yeah, I was like, well, there goes more time.
Alright, well, this pace is gonna take a little bit of a hit. Definitely don't think I can YOLO for record anymore.
Yeah, so I knew I had lost time in Soul Rival, actually. But that... I still have, like, the time,
Okay,
the champion time save
I am, right?
to save in,
Like, how does that happen?
E4. And, like, essentially, like, I knew, like, if I got perfect E4 fights all the way through to the end, like...
Wait, was it
I could maybe still have a chance to record, like... But after that happened, I was like, well, that's an extra 6 seconds lost, so... YOLO everything probably isn't gonna get me there.
That's not a smile. I can't even smile. What did I even type there?
I'm gonna need a lot
I
on
knew
this
that was
E4
close.
for it to even have a chance at record. Oh yeah, the split's very much not good.
Sort of, guys. There we go again. What a fucking make a step there.
My brother won a CSGO tournament today. At him. Shiru takes time loss movement. No, I'm kidding. But it is faster to go up the first patch of grass because you're forced to go up that middle path if you otherwise don't. Get rid of this dot. Dots there all random. Don't tell me this is lagging. Okay. Whatever. Thanks, third stay. So there's not really anything that's different in Victory Roads. It's just like, do the execution, don't bonk. The one exception being if you play Leaf Green and you got Sandshrew, you wouldn't be teaching Strength here, you'd be teaching it in Erica's gym. Shiryu messes up going down the path. I mess up a couple of places. This is, yeah, exactly. I know this isn't my cleanest rock tunnel. Or no, why did I say rock tunnel? I know this isn't my cleanest Victory Road.
And me.
But in my head, I was just like, whatever, just get to the end. Like,
yeah, exactly.
For Fire Red Leaf Green, like, runs that get this far are already so uncommon because there's so many death points and, like, so many points where it's like, you miss a blizzard, you're dead. Or, like, you got double team spammed and lost. You missed your kick, you're dead. So, getting to this point already is, like, hard enough.
No, oh my god.
Which game do I think has fewer finishes, Fire Red Leaf Green or Saf? Definitely Saf, just because Fire Red Leaf Green became such a popular speedrunning game for PSR. Like, there's so many Fire Red Leaf Green runners, it's crazy. Like, hardly anybody runs Saf compared to Fire Red Leaf Green. So there's definitely more Fire Red Leaf Green finishes. Like, in terms of, like, finishability over the course of a whole run, I would say... Actually, I'd probably say Sapphire with the new Abra route. Like, it's almost blasphemy, but like the fights aren't too bad once you get past a certain point. Whereas Fire Red Leaf Green, it's kind of like you always have to worry about like an inaccurate move or like, will I get this range?
It's not full resource. I'm gonna buy fucking 80 great balls.
Oh no, yeah, like that's what I meant right now when I was clarifying. So
Not punished.
I think like if you're just counting the routes, I think the Sapphire route gets safer at the end, and then obviously once you have Kyogre, like you have a legendary, you're gonna you're gonna sweep through the E4, and that's the point where I was gonna make here. Fire Red Leaf Green, like, and most of the speedrunning games that take place in Kanto, the E4 is so terrible. It's its own thing. You get through this entire run just to get to E4 for like your run to just be put in the fucking grave. It's horrific. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pause here actually. So I have a split that like hardly anyone does for any percent, and that's start E4. That's normally a split you would see in round 2. But I like that idea. Like, some people have a Victory Road split for any percent, which is cool. But I like doing the start E4 split. That way it keeps my golds consistent between round 2 and Fire Red Leaf Green any percent, at least for round 1. So that way I know that, like, my gold Lorelei in round 2 for, like, round 1 is a time that I know I can for sure get in any percent because I started the split when I entered E4. And basically like all you're doing is including like the extra bit of execution after you exit Victory Road, which is like the PC menu and the shop. Like, so I just like doing it at start E4 that way. Like, I have a good measurement of how long the actual fight like took compared to like combining that with some little bit of execution that I did earlier in the split or something. Oh yeah, but I'm gonna switch to a different scene. I should have been doing this the whole time, so I'm gonna switch to the PB focus. So in my run, I walked through the E4 doors at 147.46, which was I think this is 41. Like 41 seconds behind Shiru's run. Oh wait, actually I can... no. I'm streaming, and I'm going to crash my laptop if I start opening other tabs. I was like about 41 seconds behind Shiru when I walked through the E4 doors. And I figured like basically I knew I had no shot at record. I was like, I didn't even know where this run was gonna finish. I was just hoping like I just clutch out the 201. I knew I should have gotten it on the last PB. Maybe I should have gotten it on the last PB. But this was a 201 chance here, and I needed to take it. Because I also had time save on my champ as well, because my champ in PB was also bad. But this is, well, not here, but the E4 is where my run starts to take a turn.
If I get frozen, no.
So Shiru already, he just took his 4th expect. That's how far ahead in the fight he is. Also got pretty decent moves because he got Hail turn 1 and then Safeguard turn 2. So he only took 2 Ice Beams here. So not a whole lot of damage taken for him. Does take another Ice Beam. Would rather see Surf because Ice Beam can freeze, obviously.
Turn 1 Hail.
A move I don't agree with. Shiru bit there, and it is a range for Bite, even though it's like it's almost always guaranteed. It's a range to 2-shot with Bite, so you can finish with Surf. Surf will always guaranteed kill the second turn. And I know for sure based on his roll that the Bite, like it was a low enough Bite roll where it was not fully guaranteed.
Dude.
But like other than getting Hailless, like Hailless is kind of hard to get. But if you get Hail turn 1, it's not too bad.
Not true.
Incredible.
So yeah, I
Might actually go for this.
I just been taking so much damage on this Dugong. I was getting tilted already, and I saw Hail turn 1. It always sucks when you know your Hailless chance is gone on turn 1. It's like, well, fuck me, like I couldn't even try Pokeguy strats. Shiru gets a really good Lorelei. He gets that flinch there, and the body slam here doesn't para, which is so good. So good. Oh, he didn't get a Hailless Lorelei, but he got a Heelless Lorelei, and a Heelless Lorelei is like it's an 11-second to 12-second swing. So he had a really good split. Whoa, wait a minute. My video's ahead now. Okay, there we go.
No, dude.
So yeah, I saw Body Slam turn, didn't get the flinch, and I got parried, so... I mean, I needed a heal because of the damage anyway, but I was...
Still not terrible.
If I had flinched that turn, it could have been okay. I could have still worked out like Shiru's. Bite here. So I know...
Okay, that Body Slam's really good, actually. Wow.
So I get crit there by Body Slam, and I say, like, Body Slam is really good. And the reason is because from the HP I was at, it was pretty likely that I was going to see Confused Ray from Lapras, which again, like, you're just confused, it's slow. It happened to use Body Slam, which, like, thank goodness, it's so much faster. Like, you know, and you only have to hope you don't get paralyzed. But from the health I was at 140. And because of my defenses, I knew that Body Slam was good because I was going to get knocked to about, like, 110-ish, whatever. And that would have been perfect HP for high HP Bruno strats. Which is, like, where you go in, you spec twice, and then you speed, and then you go. But I get crit here, which, like, is a little worrying at first. I'm even a little worried at first. And then I'm like, okay, wait, actually, that's good. Because it still hit me into an HP that is good for a different strat, which is mid-HP strats, guard spec strats, But those are the riskiest Bruno strats, which is a little worrying.
Okay, this is
Not what I wanted, like, not what you want to be forced into. There's about 3 different Bruno strats. There's high HP, mid HP, and then there's full restore turn 1 strats. And full restore turn 1 strats are the most consistent, and the other ones, like, it depends on your HP situation going in. So Shiru was low HP, I think it was at like 31, and so he needed a super before the fight, because he wanted to do guard spec strats. But on his last Rock Tomb turn, he got crit and needed a super again. So his fight's a little bit slow, because he had a super before, and he supered in fight.
If I see Earthquake, I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm saying if I see Earthquake, I'm gonna be pissed, because exactly, I'm fucking... This Onyx is, like, it should, based off AI, want to lower your speed every time, but, like, every now and then it could just sneak an Earthquake in when you really don't want it.
Come on, one more. Thank you.
Well, luckily for me, that doesn't happen. Into perfect HP, and you go.
Would you guys go for that? Would you guys go for Surf? Would you guys Telepunch turn 2?
Didn't you say guard spec strat was the worst one? It is the worst one. I would Shiro intentionally do that and not the full restore strats. That's most consistent. So the reason why he did it is because full restore strats on turn 1 is usually 1 extra turn than either of the other strats, and if you get unlucky, it's 2 extra turns. So it's kind of risky if you get unlucky, and because of his defense and his HP situation, it was probably better that he didn't do full restore strats. Because it would have been harder to work himself into the HP he needed to be at.
What's my cursor? Super?
Is this... Okay, yeah. So, that's the end of my Bruno split, and, like, all of my golds have been, like, 155s up to this point, and that was a guard spec Bruno, was perfect, and I got a 151.
I am not Gunner Mania.
A 151 Bruno. It was nuts. I couldn't believe it. Like, I basically just pulled 4 seconds out of my ass. Like... That time save came from nowhere.
Yeah,
I didn't know it could get that low.
Think you could get a Bruno that fast, if I'm being honest.
Which is fastest, mid or high HP? Well, I mean, like, I was under the assumption that they were around the same time, but I guess now, to me, it seems like mid HP is faster because you don't get the speed fall animation, which is the big difference. Agatha's Agatha, you just, like, normally it's double team, and you just need to hit the 60%.
Yes, dude, yes! Oh my god.
And that's that. You hit... You hit... Surf, and everything's good. I was just, like... This is, like, that's the huge last wall in Fire Red Leaf Green runs, Agatha. You have to hope you hit that Surf, because, like, I've lost so many runs to the point where I was like numb to just dying to Agatha. I just like constantly expected it.
Bite Blizz Blizz.
It was just so like
at this defense and HP, I could definitely
like just so annoying that you have to deal with this so late in the game. Like it's
Did I do that?
one of the biggest reasons why why Fire Red Leaf Green E4 is so shit. But you know, I hit it, I got through, and I was like, okay, so this is probably gonna PB now. Like, I should just play safely within my limits and, like, get a good time. Little did I know it was gonna be another gold. Because I even took, like, I think it took almost a half-second pause before I used Surf. So I was pretty surprised that that gold did. And I'm, like, so after Bruno, or after Lorelei, I lost 14 seconds to Shiru. And then after Bruno, I saved 17. And on Agatha, basically stayed within. It was a 400th of a second faster split than what he had. So still keeping up. Shiru has 31 special, so he goes for Bite Blizz strats. Which is good. You save a Blizzard. If you happen to miss, you have an extra one. Which is nice. It gives you an extra chance to flinch. I have 30 special attack, and on 30 special attack, I never, ever, ever use Bite
That's so good.
Blizz strats. So I know I'm instantly locked into using double blizz strats here. I get the first turn flinch, which is really good. Dragon Rage, you hate to see it.
So much for the raid.
Dragon Rage again. So now I know if I don't crit here and it hits me, I have to heal.
Dude.
Boom.
Yes! Oh my god, it's gonna be healers!
Can I die to a crit here?
Oh my god!
I couldn't fucking believe it. I was so locked into I need the crit, I need the crit, I need the crit for healers, I need the crit for healers. And it freezes, and like, freezing Gyarados is such a meme, because like, half the time you'll just see him defrost that same turn. And that's also what I was worried about. I thought he was just gonna instantly defrost. And then when he stayed frozen, I was just in disbelief. I was like, oh my god, go, 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 go. Because I've never had a good Lance Gold. I'd never had a healless Lance in Fire the Free in any percent. So I was like, if this is it, then this is actually another gold. And I was already competing against what my current gold is on my PB.
Alright, alright.
So Shiru just about done with his run, now walking into Champ.
Guard spec. X
What was this? What?
X special,
Fuck
X
even know.
special,
Love
X-
it.
He had a
Do not have to do around
156-13
You don't
split
have to
time
do
for
them
Lance.
here.
So I'm already
Alright.
30, well, yeah, still 30,
Here we go,
however
Chad.
long behind. So Shiru, I want to say, you have to keep in mind, his run happened 5 days before my run. It was not like my run's anything more special or whatever. But for console runs, there hadn't been a 200 yet. So Shiru's decently ahead. He's on pace for like a mid 200 right now. But he decides he wants to play a little bit safer and make sure he gets the 200. Because there's ways to die on the champ fight. You can play a little bit risky, do whatever. And sometimes it just doesn't work out and you lose time and you lose that 200. So
Complete YOLO champ,
Shiru plays as safe as he could,
I could beat champ.
essentially. And gets a world record and finishes a really fantastic run.
Right now.
I got the gold lance, so it's 3 straight E4 fights that I golded.
Because I need to get like a 303.
And right now so actually, you hear me talking. Pokeguy's in the chat. He's saying that if I do X-Ackless Champ, as well as in addition to getting Healess, that he thinks it could be world record. And I knew at the time that being under 40 seconds behind world record, that I definitely was close if I got a really good champ. But to me, in my head, I was under the impression that, like, I needed this certain time. I needed, like, basically what it came down to at the end, I needed, like, a 305 champ split or better to, for sure, have a faster run than what Shiru had. And I knew that going X-Ackless, based off my testing, was a strat that saved like 6-7 seconds, and that from the pace of the fight, if I got healless, it was gonna be like a 313 or a 312. So I was either gonna finish with like anywhere from like a 305 to a 306 to a 307 if I did X-Ackless healless. That's what was going through in my head, and I was like, well, like, I could do X-Ackless and healless, and it's just like, and it might not be enough at the end. Like, there's a chance I tie Shiru, but like, I wasn't really like, I don't know if I wanted to play all that risky just for a tie. Like, having gotten to the end on this crazy, like, all of a sudden it turned into a crazy run after Lorelei. I was only 20 seconds ahead of PB, and then after Lance, minus 47.5. But yeah, I just decided, like, I don't know, I didn't think that X-Ackless could get me all the way there to a time that was below 2:00:56. So I decided not to go for it. In my head, I thought the only way I could world record was if I did the Super YOLO Champ, which is you only expect twice, and then like you go for an Alakazam range, and then you're still doing Exactless, and you're trying to get Heelless. But I wasn't down to do that YOLO either, obviously, because it's even worse. It's an even worse YOLO, and as you can see, this champ fight, I got another Sand Attack. It's going really good. I get the other Sand Attack there.
Good spread.
Raise the volume a little bit.
I'm just gonna, if I could get Heelless, I'll just take the Heelless.
You can never sub 2, right?
And to this day, honestly, that remains my conviction on this fight. Like, I was so ahead. It was such a good run. I saw my best possible time was a 2:01:04, and I was like, well, if I just match Heelless, I'm gonna get second place for sure. Record is a maybe if I did a YOLO and did Actless. Like I wasn't convinced enough that it was gonna be a faster time than Sheer, so I just didn't go for it. I didn't bother.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely.
And like literally,
sure.
I don't regret not going for it at all. I'm ecstatic with what my PB finished with. And like I guess I could show like some time afterward.
I had to go for bite because I needed the flinch for Heelless. But thank God I saw 3 Sand Attacks.
Yeah, you hear me talking about leading Blizzard first, or not leading Bite first, and that's because on my PB, I bite Gyarados trying to flinch to get Heelless, and I crit it into heal range. And here, I think my Blizzard hit into heal range, and I thought it's the same story all over again.
You are!
Barely not.
You are what you is, bitch!
Is this guaranteed?
Change speed.
Only high roll crit kills me.
Exactly.
Alright.
Only a high roll crit was going to kill from E-Speed here, so I just needed to make sure I used Surf, and that was it.
Yes! Yes! Dude!
I was so fucking happy.
Just kidding.
So, prior to this PB, I got my 202.15, but prior to that, I had a 203.13, and I had that 203.13 for over a year.
This is second place.
It's still too flat, right? Yeah, it has to be. What if my controller dies? I don't realize for 5 seconds.
I'm gonna put down the volume a
Oh
little
my
bit.
god, that's like, it's so close on whether Actless could have actually had.
Let's go back to commentary. Okay,
That's
so
actually so close.
yeah, prior to the 202, I had a 203 for over a year
And champ.
for Fire the Free 90%, and this run was a run that I had switched grinds to like other games, but I had never really dropped Fire Red Leaf Green 90%. I was always like, sometimes I would just do it in my free time. It was like, it's a 1 minute run, you just go for it. I knew I was pretty skilled at the game, and like, sometimes you just need to pump out the Squirtles.
Finally! Oh! Fuck me!
Oh my god! No way!
Oh! I'm so sorry, Wongley. You deserve this more than me.
So,
Oh
But I'll take it.
yeah, like this game's brutal. Like with the early game stuff you have to go through, and then you have to go through and live the E4 at the end. Like
It's too flat.
I just couldn't finish a run. It took me so long to get from any PB past my 203. And like I had always been getting like really good pace.
Thank you.
I'll just pause it now. I had always been getting really good paces in Fire Red Leaf Green. Like I had been getting 202 paces in Fire Red Leaf Green since 2020, and I got the 202 earlier this year. Like it was such a long time to go, and I just like I couldn't PB. I couldn't finish the run. It just wasn't happening, and I finally I get my 202. And then like there was a bad crit on Champ, and I lose a possible. It was a possible 201. We'll never know because I crit and I ended up finishing with a 202.15. So once again, I was like, there's more on the table. Like it's just right there. Like, am I really satisfied with this 202.15? I kind of want a 201. Like, more people were starting to get 201s. I was like, this is like, I know I'm gonna want to come back if I don't get this 201. And like, no shot. I got my 202.15 on May 7th of this year, and I got this PB, my 201.03, 13 days later on May 20th. So I went from not PBing in this game for well over a year to getting 2 really good PBs within a span of 2 weeks. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I had finished another run so soon. I couldn't believe the time. I golded every single E4 member after Lorelei. It was the craziest finish I had ever had. 7 seconds behind Shiru. I mean, come on. Shiru's a god keeper. Like, I was so ecstatic. Because when I started speedrunning, world record in this game was a 203.21 by Gunner. And I remember, like, I was just a viewer with a tiny bit of an ego. I was like, like, I played Leaf Green a lot when I was a kid. Like, I wonder what time I could get. And I did a couple of speed runs, and I was like, maybe I can get pretty good. Maybe I can get top 10. And I kept pushing, and it got hard. I definitely I think when I PB'd at a 209, I was like, how the fuck are people getting like all the way to 202? Because I think Pulse already had his 202 at that point. I was like, I think there's about 2, maybe 3 minutes I can save on this 209. Like, I was like, how do you even get lower than that? I was just astounded. Like, and now here we are. This is, on the left, the fastest run of Fire Red Leaf Green any percent. And 5 days later, on the right, is the second fastest run of Fire Red Leaf Green any percent, completed by me. And I mean, like, I was really proud of my Emerald run when I got top 5. I don't know, it's still a debate on whether I'm more proud of that run than I am of this run. But Fire Red Leaf Green is easily the game that I care about the most. It was the first Pokemon game I ever owned. It was one of the Pokemon games that I put, like, so much time into. And this was a game I knew, like, for so long I knew I was better than my time in this game. And it was just about, like, can I keep up the grind? Can I keep up the manip, just pumping out Squirtles? And can I get that run to the finish line? And, like, I felt it a little bit with the 202, but I still knew there was more to grab. And I fucking clutched up after Lorelei, and I grabbed that shit. But yeah, so at least for the commentary on the world record, that's going to be it for me on the commentary. I wrote down some notes on the side. I was originally going to use the notes a little bit more. Like, if I had to review the runs, like, in comparison to world record, like, my main time losses were an extra turn on Misty. I had a bad boat rival. I had a bad surge, but, like, getting really good cans in that split kind of makes up for that. So I'll say maybe 10 seconds to save on the surge split. I have a bad rock tunnel. Could save 20 seconds there. I had a bad Sylph. Obviously, the fight. I finished with, like, an 802 split. So that means I can save another 20 seconds there. I missed Blizzard on the Viridian rival fight. So that combined with the turn I lost in Misty is another 10 seconds. And then, like, Lorelei can be improved a little bit, but then after that, like, the run cannot be improved. The, like, as you can see, gold back to back to back to back to finish the run. Heelless Champ, Heelless Lance is so hard to pull off, that combo. Plus, I got a God Bruno. Like, I really, like, it's going to be really hard to compete against the E4, but I do know for sure that if I ever came back to Fire Leaf Green 90%, that, like, the time save is there. That if I even get a run that's relatively close to my PB time, like, all I have to do is just play Sylph normally, and that's it. Like, I can PB. I'm not going to be grinding Fire Red Leaf Green any percent right now, though, because I'm still grinding Saf. But I do plan to come back to Fire Red Leaf Green 90% by the end of the year. And I do plan to get my 200.